just turn the volume up a little bit, just a bit quiet. Right, everyone just have to speak really loudly. Sorry, technical pictures. If you were around on this stage yesterday, you know it was full of them. So. Right. Questions? First, because like Chambers is amazing, most amazing thing I've ever seen. But it's actually, can I ask, how do you make your sword lighter slightly cost on sword? Yeah. It's Christmas lights. Absolutely, yeah. So they're inside, and here you have the batteries, and that's all. And this is it's like PVC but transparent.
Yeah, it's like a piece of acetate. I think looking at it, so yeah, so it's like a piece of thick acetate.
Hi there. My arm is mostly made out of Wonderflex. So basically it's first I made cardboard cutouts, patterns, basically like what you make for clothing. And see how it holds together. Basically you can make everything out of cardboard. Cardboard isn't really as sturdy as Wonderflex is. And you can actually bend Wonderflex and make all the surfaces really round. It's a good thing. Once you have the cutouts, you can draw it out of Wonderflex and cut it out. You glue it all together. It's the Wonderflex basically glue it up. It's easy to attach to other Wonderflex. And then I sculpt it basically on my wood. That's all the curvature arm pieces. It's really easy to use arm for getting the forms into the arm pieces. Wonderflex is really thin, really thin. And my armor is mostly thicker edges, so it's pulled over the edges, make it look more bulky. But everything is hollow. It's really well, lightweight, but altogether it's quite heavy. And eventually I bought all the Wonderflex pieces once they're finished in 3 layers of wood glue. After applying the details, of course, to even out all the surfaces and to get rid of all the texture that Wonderflex has. Even though the new Wonderflex is smooth on one side, it still has a texture. So if you paint over it directly, I don't like the results. So 3 layers of wood glue to even out the surface. Then there's a layer of primer paint, then a layer of black paint, and after that finally the silver to make it look like real armor iron.
Okay, to all of you, the classic one. How much time and how much money does it cost?
Right, okay, I'll start with that one. Time, I started this costume pretty much straight after October Expo last year. Of course, I finished it to a state by May. I wasn't really happy with that state, so I did more to it between May and now. So really, in all, it's taken me about 12 months to actually get the costume totally complete. I mean, I've done other stuff in between, but it's probably taken about 8 months of solid work, about 12 months of time. Cost, brace yourselves. I decided for this one because one of the things I want to do is actually go into the effects industry costume broke the £1,100 mark right at the end, basically, when I bought my last spray paint to finish up the carapace down here. So yeah, so about 12 months of work, about £1,000 to make. So yeah.
So yeah, everyone asks me how much it costs, how much does it weigh. You didn't ask me. Everyone asks me, and how long does it take to make it? But it's really difficult to answer because first I saw the concept art long ago, and then I was like, oh, I totally love it immediately. But then you start thinking of what can I do? Which character can I do? Because most of them are awesome, but most of them, in 20 dots at least, have been done like a lot of time before. I tried to look for an original character, and for the Dutch preliminaries, I did Brother Matthias. It's a different brother in the same order, so yeah, he's easier than Brother Pedro's. He's not in the anime though, he's in the manga and in the novel. But that was 1.5 years ago when I started working with that. But then you started gathering fabrics, gathering materials, looking out for the right buttons, the right leather straps, the right fabrics. You buy fabrics, samples sometimes, and they're awful. Especially the golden edges and the silver edges. I wanted them to be the same material, but it's really hard to find a cool kind of gold and a cool kind of silver in the same material. So you make some errors, and I ordered some wrong wigs and wrong color lenses. But everything adds up. There's three. I'm not going to say how much it costs because I don't honestly really know. I didn't keep track of it. But if you go buy paint in the store, you already spent 60-70 euros on a couple of buckets of paint. If you buy Wonderflex, it's about 150 euros. If you buy fabric here and fabric there, it just adds up. Even the small buttons, they're cheap. One button is cheap, but if you need 100 buttons, it's not cheap anymore. So it wasn't cheap, but it's not about the money, I think. It's about the result. I really like my costume. I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of the price that I got this close to. Some materials are cheap. Like the weapon is made out of insulation foam from a transport box, and I got it for free at work. So you have to take what you can use, what you can get cheaply, I guess. And in total, I've been working on expansions from the previous costume, because my first plan was to do Petros, but it was way above my skill level. I didn't make armor pieces that often yet out of So the Brother Matthias cosplay took me a year, roughly, but not full-time. I have a full-time job, so most of the stuff I do is at night and in the weekends. But for this costume I had to take a couple of days off extra. I've been working on the expansion for the last 4 months, and the last 2 months without doing anything. All my friends were partying, and I couldn't go there. I had to finish it on time. So
I was just going to say, just before we carry on, something everyone should really do. That if you make something, never be ashamed and never be shy. When you're walking past the skip and you see that metal frame, or you see that bit of tubing or that bit of wood, don't be shy of just going in the skip and taking it, because it's just going to go to the rubbish dump. If it's useful to you, you're actually helping. You know, we've got a rubbish problem in this world, and it's a good thing to recycle. So yeah, so like Ronald says, you know, if you've got a bit of packing foam, you know, packing foam is as good as whatever for the right purpose. So yeah, so you can just recycle, and you can. There's a lot of recycled materials in mine. There's a lot of new materials in mine. So yeah.
Okay. I actually started my cosplay for the last year Expo in Spain. It took like 5 months of hard work. You know, if you spare the time
just say that I am a big Jim Henson nerd. I adore Jim Henson's work, but really it was challenge for me. I mean, I don't know if many of you following the costumes that I've been making. I always try something different in each costume. And I thought, right, after I made the last one, what can I do that's a bit different? And I thought, I know, I'll make something that you can't sort of see any human elements whatsoever. You know, make something that you look at it and you go, that's not a person, it's a creature. I've made things like a werewolf in the past, but really you can kind of tell it's a person in a costume. And that was kind of my goal and my aim in this costume, really. So yeah, so that's why I chose mine. Be complicated.
I chose my cosplay because my boyfriend really likes statues. He has a lot on his gallery. And I stared at them and I was like, I think I can do that. So I can be in a statue too. So I actually like Yamashita myself. I wrote his art books and it's really beautiful. I love his art. And so I decided to become Yamashita.
I chose my character not because I like the series a lot, but the main character is, with all due respect, is quite annoying. But I really like, I'm really into world building. The world of Trinity Blood is really, really interesting. It's actually science fiction world in the future. You wouldn't say it if you look at the costumes, because they look almost medieval. People ask me, why are you dressed up as a knight? I say, well, it's not a knight, it's actually science fiction stuff. It's really interesting. But of course, when you look at the concept art of Trinity Blood, all you can do is fall in love with it. It's great. It's really, really, really amazing. So when I did decide that I wanted to do a Trinity Blood, I went over some similar costumes. But when I decided I wanted to do a competition, I joined a lot of materials, and after that it was logical for me to expand the costume into a lot of page work. Also because their costume offers some great challenges. I always wanted to do something new with my costumes. You inspired me a lot. So you use great materials, and I like the electronics in your costume. The lighting in your costume, the way your wings move. I couldn't make my shields expand automatically. I needed a guy, my ninja guy for that. On stage. But yeah, that's why I chose it.
Because I wasn't touching anything, that was the thing. Where exactly are you with the sketches?
Okay, I'll put it basically on. I haven't got the rest of the costume with me. I'll just put the top of the carapace roughly where it sits on my body. Okay, so I'm going to go quiet now. Okay, I'll try and talk as loud as I can. So basically, I'll be wearing a backpack. This pen here slots into the backpack. In the front, there's like a framework that comes up into the front. So I've got framework here. Basically, like that. So my hand comes out the front, that's where the head goes. My arm goes down the sleeve into a rig which the hand's attached to. There you go.
Are both hands controllable?
the two hands, the right hand is just what in puppetry is called a dead hand. It's just basically, it's made similar to the other one, but it hasn't got this sort of like there's an animatronic rig basically that looks kind of like that, but the other way around, because this is actually for that hand. Rather than having that, it's just got wire and stuffing in it to keep it light, and then it's got a bunch of clips in the back of the hand, and they just clip onto the bottom of the waistcoat, so it just sits there and it doesn't actually do anything. It's mainly because there's absolutely no way that I could do anything with it, because he's got a third arm.
Next question.
Well, this is for all three of you. Some of the costumes are very, very complicated with a lot of pieces. Just wondering, from start to finish, how long does it take to get into them? How long does it take to get dressed?
And my previous costume, it only took 20 minutes, 15 minutes. It was really easy. I mean, this one is more, takes a little bit more time. I also pay more attention to the makeup. So the makeup takes about half an hour, then getting the wig on, and the black boat and this under my arm, it's attached. So after the makeup and the wig, I put on the corset. I wore a corset yesterday. Not today, I'm wearing something else on my back today. But yesterday I had the big jetpack with the extendable arms. So in order to get it on my back, I wore, it's difficult to explain, but some wooden plank with padding and 2 iron pins stuck out of my back. It was shoved under the corset, so the corset actually distributed the weight of the jetpack and the mechanical arms on my hips, not on my shoulders. But there's already a lot of weight resting on my shoulders. So the corset takes a little bit of time getting everything into place. But once that's all finished, I put on the black stuff and armor pieces, but they're all really easy to shove on actually. So getting the costume on in total took a little, well, 1.5 hours to 2 hours. I was planning to take it off after being judged, but by then I was sweating so much that I didn't think I'd be able to get it back on smoothly.
I'm not wearing a lot of clothes, actually. So, 10 minutes, and what really takes long is my hair and makeup, and I can take 20 minutes of that.
Right. It doesn't take me much time to actually put it on. It takes 2 other people time to put it on. It takes a solid 1.5 hours of swearing, cursing, screaming, crying, bit of bleeding to get this whole rig on. It's a good 1.5 hours, and in the grand scheme of things, I could wear it in its complete form with no help for a maximum of 5 minutes. My arm then gives out, and I need someone to grab the head for me, because it's basically, the head weighs 3.5 kilos. And that doesn't sound like a lot. It's almost 2 bottles of busy popping weight. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're holding it out like that, on the back of your hand rather than the palm of your hand, so it's against every single muscle that really does that job rather than with it. For the length of time that it takes to put on to the length of time you can actually wear it, it's very unbalanced there. So yeah, so good 1.5 hours.
Next question.
cosplay. I came, let's see, it must have been May 2008. I came here with a friend who had actually made a cosplay for. She basically said, oh, I've been going to this convention, everyone makes costumes. I can't make costumes. I was like, well, I can sew to a point at that point, and I can make things. I'll make you a costume. What do you want? And she said, I can never pronounce it. Is it Lelouch? Code Geass, the main guy from that. She wanted the jacket made, so I was like, yeah, I can make the jacket for that, no problem. Got the pattern, made the jacket. And then I came here, and I spent the whole event looking around, going, I feel like I'm missing out here. I feel like I'd rather be the one that's wearing the costumes, and yeah. So yeah, Expo got me into it. Right after that, we were driving home. I was living in Turkey at the time. I was driving home with this girl, and I said, you know what? We really like Full Metal Alchemist. You do Ed, I'll do Al. And she kind of looked at me and said, what? The armoured version? I went, yeah, I'll do the armoured version. She said, really? Yeah, I'll do the armoured version. I can do it. I can make it. I've made roleplay armour. I've made LARPing armour before in the past. Not very good, but I was okay at it. And I just learned. And October 2008, I came back and I cosplayed for the first time. So yeah.
Since I was a little girl, I always loved costumes. Like I had hundreds of costumes, all kind. And I never went to an expo. And when I started with my boyfriend, he took me to a manga expo in Barcelona 3 years ago. And when I saw everyone walking around with costumes and cosplays, and I felt like I really wanted to do that. So we started. And it's been 3 years now, and I really like it.
I first went to elf fantasy fairs back in Holland. We didn't dress up, we just went normally. And I was amazed at the costumes there and at people dressing up as knights and elves and stuff. And I went to the elf fantasy fair a year after and a year after, and every time he said, oh, we should make costumes, but we never did. And by then I got to know my friend over there. And he was making anime costumes. I didn't even know anime back then. Of course I know Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon from TV and stuff. But he introduced me to anime basically, dragged me along to anime conventions, to anime meets in amusement parks. Someone told me, you have a great, I'm wearing a blue wig today, but you have great hair for, what's his name? Light turned out okay. My father even liked it. I was surprised. So that would answer your question? Yes?
I think the part I don't like the most, maybe the armors, because I think I could have made it better, but I wasted a lot of time with the wings, so that was the hardest part.
Right. I always make things complicated, don't I? Like both of them have already said, there's always something that you can always do better. It's always a learning process. So as you've made something, you've experienced it, and you think, next time I do it, I'll do it differently. Or, I wish I'd done it a slightly different way. And really, that's what I actually applied, because my costume in May, same costume, but I mean, if you go away and look at the photos now, you'll notice that there's actually a lot of differences. There's a lot of things that I've done to the costume between May and now. First thing, of course, was this. The original was just flat pieces of foam, sort of glued onto each other and laminated. And it did the job, but I felt it was incredibly flat. So I went away and did a proper one, sculpted it, made a mould, made it out of fiberglass. So it's nice, solid, a lot heavier unfortunately, but that's the nature of the beast. And I did a lot of other things like weathering it as well between May and now. So it looks a lot dirtier and it looks a lot grubbier and less shiny and clean. I mean, these were things really that I wanted to do anyway, but I just ran out of time. I mean, I was still stitching things and I was still painting things the night before we were going to Expo in May. Fortunately for this, I actually finished this a week before Expo, which was a real relief, or a week before this Expo. As for things that I changed with this version, it's really difficult to say now. I would have liked more expression in the face, but the problem is I couldn't incorporate any more controls into the costume. So I originally wanted it to have a snarl, because he kind of snarls in the movie, and he's kind of got eyebrows that move up and down. But when you strap into the costume, your right hand is controlling the head. You can't do anything else. Your left hand is controlling the fingers and the blink, because I control the blink with my thumb. It's like on a little trigger. Once you've got all that together, you can't actually do anything else to do any more controls. So I kind of resigned myself to the idea that I can't do the other things that I'd like to add into it. So would I improve anything from it now? Probably not now. I'd say that I am, for the first time ever cosplaying, totally 100% happy with the costume. So yeah.
I wanted to add some things. What was really challenging for me was to keep maintaining the movement. My first version of my costume was really hard to move. I could only do this, and it made it really difficult to wield the mechanical lens. So with this costume, I tried to regain my movement, also with the elbows, because full body armor is not easy to make. I actually studied some medieval harnesses, see how people used to do it back then, because it's the original source, I guess, for someone making concept art. Some concept art pictures are like used like this, and it's a tube. Basically, you would not be able to move in it. If you look at it, it's just simply impossible. So it was most difficult to find a balance between the concept art, what was possible in real, what I could do on the Wonderflex art, and also keep things balanced, not overdo it or underdo it, or make power parts that look like tubes, basically. It's difficult to, or it's easiest probably to make something that looks like a tube, but it's not interesting to look at. It's not much fun. I try my best to make everything special.
This is a question for all of you. What do you do for a living, or do you study, do you work, and how does it go with making cosplay?
I'm a lab technician at the University in Rotterdam, and I graduated 4 years ago on my bachelor degree. I have a full-time job now that allows me to make bigger costumes, although I don't have much time.
Done a lot of jobs. I left school and I did optics, so I used to make spectacles, which has actually come in very handy in some costumes. I got very bored of that though after a while, and I decided I wanted to go to university and do photography. So I went to college first, and then I went to university. Ever since then, really though, I kind of came out of university in this country at the wrong time, because finding a job now is incredibly difficult, especially in specialist trades like I'm trained in. So really, one of the things in this country that is actually booming at the moment, and we have got fantastic uptake in new employees, is actually the movie industry, and specifically the special effects industry. So a couple of years ago, a friend of mine, Laura, you may have heard of her, her username online is normally Sands. She's done a lot of stuff here in the past. She went away and went to university and learned effects, and she works for a company in London now. And she's been badgering me now for a good 2 years that I really shouldn't be making cosplay anymore. I should actually really be working in the industry. And that's my goal now. I basically said I want to get this costume finished so I can show that I can work in silicon, I can work in fiberglass, I can work in foam, I can work in fabric, I can do all things that are needed, I can make molds, I can cast, I can do the lot. So when I go home, I will have my customary sit down 2 weeks and recover and get over the shock and get a portfolio together and apply for some jobs down in London. Hopefully, maybe in a couple of years' time, my things will go from stages here to stages in bigger places. So we'll see.
Any more questions?
Problems with some performances last night, so when you're just about to go on stage, what do you do to sort of stop yourself getting nervous?
Stop myself getting nervous? Don't know about that. There's two sides to it really. Firstly, when you're actually out on stage, actually there's three sides to it. When you're out on stage, you've got stage lights blaring on you. Generally speaking, you can't see much of the audience anyway. You can maybe see the first 2 or 3 rows. Other than that, you can see lots of flashes happening. So it's not so bad to start with. Other than that, I've never done a costume that you can see my face in. So I don't have to really worry about people seeing how nervous I am and probably looking a bit like this and shaking like a leaf underneath tons of armour or puppetry costume or whatever. Thirdly, I read a lot about what people do before they go on stage. I read a lot about things in general like that because it interests me a lot. And there's it's actually a wrestler. It's actually one of the wrestlers. Funnily enough, it's actually the Big Show. If you've ever seen wrestling, he's a great big 7-foot-tall behemoth of a guy, and he's incredibly. He's like really nasty on stage, and he's really sort of like aggressive. I was watching an interview with him because I find wrestling interesting because it's pure performance, but it's very athletic at the same time. You know, I've got no illusion that it's all fake and things like that. But when he goes on stage, when he's coming down the ramp, he does this thing. He goes 1, 2, 3, and it's a little thing that just puts him in his role. And it's a message. It's actually a message to his girlfriend. He's saying, "I love you." So this is going to sound a bit mushy now. When I was 13, my brother passed away. And I've always felt like he's looking over me. So as best as I can in whatever costume, I always look up to the sky and I just say, you know, I'm doing this for you, brother. And I just go out on stage and do what I can. So yeah.
act justly. It's like 2 minutes, and you have to be on your best. You have to show everything you got in the right order. You've been rehearsing for it forever, and then you only have 2 minutes to show it. It's terrible. I always get very, very nervous. I don't like being on stage. It's fading off a little bit though. It's starting to get better. This is only my 3rd time on stage, and before that I did a little bit of judging and all, but that's easy, just like sitting here and like, looking at costumes, observing. It's more fun. I like this more too, by the way, than being on stage yesterday. It's more fun to talk about costumes, also in person, discuss things, than being all theatrical and doing big gestures. I'm also very insecure about my facial expression, like on stage and stuff. Like a good actor has great facial expression and he can really transform himself into the character. I'm not an actor myself, but I try to do my best. Before going on stage, I was listening to my track, the music of my act, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, going through all the movements, and also to go to the audience. I had the sound on high, and it totally shielded me, basically, from all the noise around me. And of course, I got after like the 2 minutes before going on stage, I started to get really, really nervous. But once you're on stage, it's like go with the motion, go with the flow. I forgot a couple of small things. I finished a little bit early, but all in all, it was great. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's acts back on YouTube or wherever it's hosted. And I can see myself too. See what I did wrong because I have no clue anymore.
Something that you're building up to, like a certain cosplay or sort of something that you're going with your costumes.
Like a big evil master plan, like in 5 years I want to rule the world in my awesome... I've been working towards this costume for 1.5 years, and after this it's just blank. I want to go home, I want to go play Rage, I want to go play Skyrim when it comes out, and I want to go back to my guild, and I want to go back to my friends. And I don't have any plans for the next... Well, I want to participate in the World Cosplay Summit, and the prequels of the World Cosplay Summit. And we already have some costume IDs, and act IDs even, act IDs. Most of the time they come last, but we've got some great IDs already. But that's 2013 probably, not 2012. Because that's only half a year away. I mean, this costume took 1.5 years to make. I can't magically conjure a new costume in a half year. That's of this quality. I mean, for the World Cosplay Summit, it's the world. It's the most craziest people that go there. And if you want to participate there and be serious about it, it just takes time and effort. I want to focus on different things now, like getting my driver's license. 26, so I can't even drive a car. Seeing what this thing does with this thing and how this thing will work with this thing. And I
feel like I'm at a stage now where I've taught myself and learned from others enough that I can possibly realise that dream, and I can possibly, take it that one step further. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that I want to stop cosplaying. I have, at any one time, I have about 24 costumes that I have sort of planned for the future, and they all keep on getting juggled around. It's like, no, I want to do this one next, and then somebody says, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'll go, oh, but I've got one of that, something from that plan, so I'll move that forward, and so yeah, so really expand on what I'm doing rather than change what I'm doing. So yeah.